Morning, everyone. Good to see you all, and thanks for making your way from the coffee break. And thanks everyone for joining the panel. Today we will talk about SSA, and maybe in the beginning I will ask my panelists two questions. One of them is just briefly share your company, what you are doing. Most of you had quite exciting updates this year, so it would be good if you can share one or two updates from the last 6 to 12 months. And then I think the third angle you can cover in this sort of initial part is to share your specific angle on the SSA market. What do you think about, what does SSA even mean? Where are you coming from the technological standpoint? And then we can move towards more specific questions. And Antoine, I think you can start.
Yes, good morning. Thank you, Filip, for the introduction. So I'm Antoine Seillan. I'm the CFO of a young company founded in 2022 in France, growing in Europe thanks to investors from France, UK, Germany, Spain, and from the European Investment Bank. I'm a happy CFO because after raising 14 million euros in 2022, we raised again 50 million last June that we announced at Le Bourget. So we are extremely supported by the French Space Agency, French government, and the EU. And we're actually targeting clients all over the world, commercial, public, civilian, military. What we offer is an independent and global solution for space traffic safety and management. So first, we are developing a network of new generation space surveillance radars based on the Earth, distributed all over the world and ideally located for high precision and frequent revisit. Second, we offer an excellent digital solution with integrated AI, dual features that we can implement either as a service or on premises. It is secure, it's at MOD standards, and it's cyber hardened. And finally, we offer space operations as a service with automated management of orbital maneuver. So what is SSA for us? Basically for us, SSA is not only awareness. SSA is SS, A, and A is for action. That is our pitch.
Hello everyone, my name is Adytia Baraskar. I'm also come from a young startup. We was a project in a SkyPerfect JSAT internal. SkyPerfect JSAT is operator and mission media company and other things. They also realized this debris removal technology is very much important. So they started a project, and I was a young student just graduating from the university, and I joined as the first employee to them for this project, and we started investigating for a few years. And last year we spin out as Orbital lasers with a few people. Now we are after 1 year, we are more than 50 plus employees and partners who is building this technology. What Orbital lasers doing in the technology sector in space specifically? So we are the space laser company. We do not do communication. We do everything except communication. So we develop a high power laser technology for debris removal, where we shoot lasers from a small distance. So we work with the ADR, ISAM companies, where we shoot lasers to stop the rotation of a target, and then the debris removal company can take like a chopstick robotic system and remove very easily. Second, what we are doing is the second project is Earth observation, where we shoot laser to the ground and get elevation models, which is a precise, I can say below 15 centimeters we can do it, and there will be a constellation we are going to build, and in which recently we got awarded for 2 satellite contract from the JAXA, Japanese government side. So we are continuously building this technology, and in future we'll be having LiDAR constellations in space, and maybe 3-digit contracts will be upcoming days. So I hope, thank you for everyone.
Hello everyone, and thank you for the invitation. I'm very pleased to be on APSCC floor again. after 5 years. I'm a sales director for space surveillance activity in Safran. I will not say Safran is a startup, it's 100,000 employees, but still a startup spirit. As we come from Insnakes and Zodiac and Safran, the clever way of acquisition of small company by Safran is to keep the spirit we had from the beginning, and the team is the same. As you said, 50, we are 50 people working in the company, really in a spirit, a startup spirit. And from our very strong knowledge and know-how on RF and signal acquisition and signal processing, we have developed a network of sensors worldwide, more than 110 antennas deployed worldwide, fully passive, to measure and track satellite on GEO, but also now on LEO, and it's one of the new capability we have from February this year. We do track LEO satellite, more than 1,000 today, and we commit on 3,000 in the next year. We track more than 550 satellites on GEO constantly, with a revisit every 30 minutes. And what we also do is capability to survey, so to detect every transmission coming from sky, means we detect any satellite coming over our sensor, again, deployed worldwide. And to that, we apply AI, so we want to to reduce, I would say, easier for me, sorry, to reduce the manpower into the loop. We want to have automated system working 24/7 all the year long. And for that, we apply AI. So from the data we produce, we come up to information, to have information on the behavior of the satellites, the maneuver detection, when the payload's off, on, if they switch payload or even interference, we have the capability to detect. And when we want to offer is this as close as real time, to have relevant information for the customer at the time they want it. And just regarding SSA and SDA, there's different meaning. It's personal. My understanding is SSA is more about taking care of the platform, so collision avoidance and such a thing. SDA is more about behavior, protecting the platform and things which is more defense side, while you need to go deeper into the understanding of the mission of the satellite, on the activity of the satellite. And I put more SSA for collision avoidance and SDA for defense activities on my side. Thank you.
Cool. So thanks everyone for the initial round. What I was thinking how we could structure the next 20 minutes is the approach of 3C. So talking about capability, customers, and then cash, and then we can open the floor to questions from the audience. And so on the capability side, you obviously all come from different angle, ground-based radar, in-space laser ranging, and then ground-based passive RF. And so can you please talk about sort of why did you decide to operate in the either in the segment or the technical? Why did you decide to follow the technical approach where you are at, and then also your view on the future, either data fusion or orchestration, if you will, or like different sensor types into the total wholesale picture? And Thierry, maybe you can start.
Yeah. I would love to say it was a good vision we had 10 years ago, and we did it. But actually, we came to that business to serve our product line, which is we are doing monitoring of satellite communication and geolocation of transmitter. And to do accurate geolocation of transmitter, we needed accurate position of the satellites. And so we have been asked to develop such a system, and at the time, 10 years ago, this new topic appeared about space surveillance, and that's why we are here. So I'd love to say it's a vision, but it's not. It's circumstances which bring us there, but we are in this technology, to answer your question, because, as I say, we are RF engineer and signal processing. And we're not doing optical radar. We try to be good at what we are doing, and we are successful to that, so I believe we are. But today, we stick to that. We produce data. We want to go higher in the value chain. But first, we want to set up the mine and have the data production. And then when the mine will be set, we'll see what we'll do.
So for us, we do not get data from from our systems to develop SSA operation site, but yes, we use the SSA data from our internal payload. Specifically, when we are going for determining, we have object detection systems, and we have to be precisely map the target, which we have to shoot laser for ablation methods. So over there, our laser technology can range from kilometers to the few meter size. So we go towards and range every centimeter of a target and aware like what is going to be happen, the abnormality, the MLI and other things, so we can shoot properly. Second things is like, yes, we need a continuously data for our Earth observation systems, because what we are developing a constellation in future, we have to operate in a perfect LEO orbit where we continuously need a radar or some things, and which I really find is like most of SSA operators who are giving the data is above 400 kilometer, very good, but below 400 kilometer is also difficult to catch. So we really look towards like how to get the data and how to precisely manage our constellation with the environmental factors. So this is like engineering side and scientific side. We continuously look into it as SSA data side.
So I mean, this data user perspective is interesting. So can you just follow up on why the data under 400 kilometers is important to you, and then why is there sort of technical difficulty in getting the data?
Okay, so I can answer you two sector side, both which is like I am as a senior scientist, so I'll as a scientific side I'll answer. First is like below 400 kilometers or near to 400 kilometers, the environment is density increases, and as the solar cycles go up and down, so maybe after 2031 there will be a big environment change is going to be happen. So if the operator who is under the 400 kilometers, they have to have big propulsion systems to manage the environment. So also we need a data for managing our environment. Same times, the satellite operator who have mega constellations, it's not like everything is successful, because every time a few failures are happening, and every month a few failures are coming down to the Earth. So we have to be, when we are operating below them, we have to be safe, secure our positions with the environment factors. So it's like more difficult than the upper LEO or MEO site than the lower LEO site. So this is a difficult side. As a business prospect, yes, we need continuously data to understand how the environment change and how the efficiently we can operate a satellite. The cost effect will be a very major milestone for startup, because we cannot use high propulsion systems for a longer time in lower than the 400 kilometers, because the environment factor will bound us for a specific cost-effective manner of thruster uses.
On the lookup space side, actually, our analysis is actually that the challenge is not only to get the data, which we will do thanks to our network of radars, but is also to analyze this data and provide to the decision makers the tools to turn this into action in space. So the backbone of our business model is actually our network of radars, which will be distributed all around the world, ideally located to offer highly precise revisit of any object orbiting the Earth in low Earth orbit, down to around 10 centimeters. And what we want to do is actually to help countries and operators move from seeing to doing in orbit. We think that countries, but also operators, push about sovereignty, which is today's buzzword in this meeting, is about ownership of data, technology, and decision making. So that aligns with us. One point is actually that many countries prefer optical observation of in-orbit objects because it's visible, it's local, it's also easier and faster and cheaper to build, which is understandable. But we think optical observation of in-orbit objects is always limited by line of sight, daylight, and weather conditions. Our radars are the only true all-weather, always-on instrument, day and night, and even if it's raining or if the weather is not good. So what we provide is actually a network that will share this radar data, sovereign data, and what we want to say to clients is do not stop investing in optical capacity, but let us connect it to our radar data onto our platform and provide you with the capacity to decide what you need to do in orbit.
Cool. If you could please see the questions from the audience, and in between we can cover the customer question, and maybe Adytia, you can start. So, I mean, if you are buying SSA data, what are you, maybe what has changed for you as, an entity that is buying SSA data, and then for Thierry and Antoine, how do you perceive what the buyer, the promising customer you have is looking for, and how that may have changed, over the last few years, let's say. So Adytia, you can start, and then Thierry and Antoine.
So one thing is like when we are buying the data, so first project is like space debris removal. So we need a precise understanding of the target. So what's the environment around it? Not like the target, but what's the environment around the 50 kilometers of the target? If it's a small debris or cluster of debris are there, so how we can precisely H-hop, V-hop to go nearby to actively capture the target. Same times when we are going towards and understanding these systems, we find it like as a company who is making the laser debris removal for detumbling business sites, so we do not find a perfect tumbling or rotation of the target. So if a target is rotating like a 50 degree per second, we cannot precisely understand until we send a like a mission where we observe is like astroscale did it recently, CRD1, so then CRD2. So we have to understand first these things, and then as a operator sites where we operate constellations, so over there we also need a continuously data where we can look into it, the another debris are coming or not, and most of time which we understand if our contractor is a government agency, we cannot choose lot of companies who have the data because government did not provide us to allow the specific types of the company's data.
Okay, so regarding space surveillance, we understand that it's a strategic. You need to understand to see what's happening, otherwise you cannot act and you cannot take decisions. So it's more and more pregnant now. The thing is, the budget are not all set, and the nation are putting budget for that, which is good. But also the system is not always ready, so they have to build the system to get the data and to build their control board. What I see from the customer request is that they want the relevant information at the right time. Okay, and as a data producer, we produce the data massively today, and we'll have to change in the way to follow the market to be able to give the relevant information anytime the customer wants it, and the timeliness is very important too. So it will change a bit the way to produce, But still, if we have all the information, means the information will be in our data lake, but also in the business model. So things will change slowly around the evolution of the market and the requests for customer. Also, what I feel from the market, you have several type of technologies: optical, radar, passive RF, space-based. And I believe then what I see behind, by experience, fusion is not the key things, is not the word that at least does not apply to space surveillance. We will have more orchestration of the sensor will be needed, because when we have a good data, it wouldn't be any better having merging with other type of data. But you can certain time, radar data, passive RF or optical data will be better than the other. And for aspect, and Antoine mentioned, if the weather condition or whatever, you may not be able to get the data from optical, then you will need to know which data is relevant at the time you want the information. So it will be two things. The business model may change in time, and also the way to orchestrate the sensor will be interesting to see.
Yes, about these sea-like customers, the basis, the anchor of our business model for the moment, in the months to come, obviously will be agencies, MODs, space commands. But as we are switching on our first radar, actually we see private customers lining up to test the samples of our data. And this is actually obvious. There is many reasons to be bullish about this market. Let me remember you a few figures. 2010, there were 400 satellites in orbit. Today, I heard 100,000. And in 5 years, that would be 40,000, not mentioning the debris, plus a context in which the EU space law will actually make it compulsory for operators to have the capacity to demonstrate that they're able to respond to necessity to maneuver in space. So I'm actually very positive about this, and with the rise of constellation, the complexity of operations in orbit, new in-orbit operations, plus strategic threats, obviously there is a big market upfront us.
Maybe to follow up, so you mentioned you've got private companies lining up. What's your visibility on when those conversations could turn from testing samples into like some more significant purchases of SSA data?
Yes, actually what we're selling is actually not only the data but the service, okay? So we have 3 levels. First we sell data, then we give access to our platform, which is called Synapse, which is either a platform that we can install on your premises or that we can get access to as a service. And finally we're developing a new layer of service, which is the ultimate goal of Lookup, which is to provide space operations as a service to companies which would like to give us the task to operate their own satellites, thanks to our platform and our data radars.
And so the visibility of uptake. So three levels of service, private companies, testing the data and onboarding on a platform. And so what's your visibility, when the volume or the revenue per customer will, start becoming more significant?
Within the next 2 years.
Nice. And so thanks, Andy, for the question. We can tackle that and then close the final question. So it says, if you look at the complexity of the STM market, what role should the private companies take as opposed to which initiative should be the role of the government? So the government/private company split in the SSA market, where do you stand, Thierry?
Interesting question, and Andy, I want to meet you after to discuss more. Yeah, it's a very open topic, and it's I would say in Europe actually we have the Space Act, which is under writing, and we have a bit of would say question around this. How the government should involve, how Europe for European countries should be involved in that. Should they do the operation? Should they sponsor the industry? The same on the US side with tracks. What I understand, tracks, the government is building the system, but they're going to put the system over to industry to operate. It's not the position of Europe. Apparently, Europe is going to operate the system for collision avoidance. Yeah, it's something we have to debate, but as industry, I will say we are fully capable of doing it, and I will see more this type of activity be on industry side.
If either wants to weigh in?
I'll just say that yes, we need a continuously cooperation between multi-government and companies, because data we have to be understand, but I also understand a lot of companies and government do not want to share the data. So as operator and who need this data a lot, we want like companies to build the ecosystems where we can rely on them and then get a data for maybe space debris removal and operation side.
Yes, fully agree. Governments should support the private sector by providing anchor contracts for them to start their business. Should also subsidize the development of new sensors technologies. But in the end, the private sector should be able to provide the service. And I think the public sector should actually limit itself to providing basic public service information.
Thank you. And then for the last question, since we are in Taiwan and in this specific region, in the last 90 seconds, what's a development that is making you either worried or excited in SSA within this region?
Yeah, I recently read on, I think that's Space News, there is this CNSA, SSA operator calling on NASA saying, hey, I think we have 2 satellites which are coming soon in conjunction, but don't worry, we're going to be the ones who are going to move our trajectory, which I think is something fantastic and good news, that space traffic management between US and China may be making some progress.
I'll say that recently I read the news, maybe Space News or somewhere, the airline got hit by some unknown object, and it's unfortunate, but it's going to be happening in future a lot. So we have to understand whatever the investigation will say, but we have to predict, like in upcoming years, if we do not understand the space environment, we do not understand the awareness towards us or for the future, we are going to lose, as an economical side, 0.6% of world GDP for the next 100 years if we do not remove or we do not observe or we do not do anything. So understanding SSA cooperation between multi-government and the companies will be very much required. So unfortunately, but it's going to be happen.
Just to finish, maybe, there's a lot of things happening over here. We've seen recently MEV1 pushing 901 into the graveyard. We've seen MEV1 going to up to 3D, and we clearly see all those activities over here. We see SG 21, 25, we see some uncooperative approach. We see a lot, so please come in, and if you want to see more and understand more, come and see us.
Cool. Thank you all for joining the session.
Thank you all for the wonderful sessions.